Aboard the vast, crystalline vessel of the Xathari Dominion, Commander Claz stood before the glowing strategic map of a small, unassuming blue and green planet. The Xathari were a hive-mind species, their strength rooted in unity, precision, and conquest. For centuries, they had expanded their dominion across the stars, crushing resistance with cold efficiency. Yet, in all their archives and records, one planet had consistently drawn whispers and cryptic warnings from lesser species: Earth. To Claz, the notion was absurd. A backwater planet with no interstellar fleet, no advanced defenses, and a fractured population? The warnings from other species, phrases like "beware the Hornets Nest," seemed like desperate attempts to deter the inevitable. The humans were disorganized, chaotic, and resourceful only in the way vermin adapted to survive. Claz dismissed the rumors as exaggerations born of fear. "Our mission is simple," Claz stated to his officers, his voice sharp and unyielding. "We study their weaknesses, exploit them, and add this world to the Dominion." Another step in our inevitable expansion. The Xathari ship shimmered as it cloaked itself, slipping into orbit around Earth undetected. From their vantage point, the aliens observed sprawling cities, interconnected networks of satellites, and an atmosphere teeming with life. To the Xathari, this was a familiar tableau of a lesser species ripe for assimilation. Their initial scans showed no planetary shields, no orbital defenses, and no centralized command structure, only fragmented communication networks and crude technologies by galactic standards. "Pathetic," one officer murmured, earning a chorus of agreement from the others. Claz watched the screens, his mandibles twitching slightly. He couldn't deny a faint unease. Despite their arrogance, the Xathari rarely ignored patterns, and Earth's reputation had an unsettling consistency across sources. Worlds more advanced than humanity had fallen easily to the Dominion, yet even their whispers about Earth carried a tone of reverence and dread. Still, Claz was determined to prove these fears baseless. The first mission was reconnaissance. A small Xathari scout team descended into Earth's atmosphere, landing in a secluded region away from human population centers. Their goal was simple: observe, analyze, and abduct a few specimens for study. The humans' unassuming nature and apparent lack of awareness of the Xathari presence bolstered the aliens' confidence. The Xathari team moved swiftly under the cover of darkness, their sleek forms blending into the environment. They captured a group of humans, a mix of civilians and local workers, binding them with bioorganic restraints. Their scans revealed intriguing physiological data. Humans were fragile yet remarkably adaptable, with a neural capacity that hinted at a chaotic but potentially dangerous intelligence. But the Xathari's assumption of human obliviousness was their first mistake. Within minutes of the abduction, Earth surveillance systems flagged the unusual activity. Local law enforcement responded with surprising speed, tracking the intruders with drones and thermal imaging. The Xathari, accustomed to prey that panicked or submitted, were caught off guard by this swift mobilization. "Commander, we're detecting a coordinated response," reported one of the scouts, their voice tinged with confusion. Claz dismissed the report. "Let them try. These primitives cannot match our technology." As the reconnaissance team prepared to extract their specimens, the first wave of human responders arrived. Though their weapons were primitive by Xathari standards, their tactics were not. Utilizing drones, precision strikes, and rapid coordination, the humans forced the aliens to retreat under heavy fire. A single Xathari casualty, a rare occurrence in such missions, sent ripples of unease through the hive-mind. "They fought back," one officer remarked, astonishment evident in their tone. Claz's eyes narrowed. Earth was not what it seemed. The aftermath of the failed reconnaissance missions left the Xathari fleet in turmoil. Reports of human adaptability, rapid responses, and unconventional tactics rippled through the hive mind like an infection. Commander Claz, now fully aware that Earth would not be subdued as easily as other worlds, decided to escalate. The humans had proven to be a nuisance, but the Xathari were an empire of overwhelming force. Claz mobilized a larger contingent of troops, supported by ground assault vehicles and aerial drones. It was time to demonstrate the true might of the Dominion. The fleet descended in a show of dominance, targeting key infrastructure in human cities. Power grids, communication hubs, and military installations were hit with precision strikes. The plan was simple: dismantle humanity's capacity to organize and overwhelm them before they could mount a defense. For the first few hours, the strategy seemed to work. Cities were plunged into darkness, their networks crippled. Xathari ground forces moved swiftly, capturing and neutralizing pockets of resistance. But humanity was far from defeated. Deprived of centralized systems, humans adapted yet again, reverting to localized operations that proved maddeningly difficult to predict. Civilians and militaries alike began employing guerrilla tactics, striking at the Xathari with speed and precision. It was as if the chaos of Earth itself was rising to fight back, turning the planet into a battlefield the Xathari couldn't control. In one instance, a Xathari forward base established in the ruins of a human communications center came under attack. At first, the humans sent small, seemingly disorganized groups armed with makeshift weapons and improvised explosives. The Xathari dismissed the attacks as desperate, even laughable. But as the skirmishes continued, the true nature of the assault became clear. The humans weren't trying to destroy the base outright. They were probing, testing weaknesses, and drawing the Xathari into traps. Within hours, the forward base was overrun. The Xathari, despite their technological superiority, were undone by human ingenuity. Civilians armed with little more than salvaged equipment coordinated with military forces to create a seamless, decentralized resistance. Commander Xathari's mandibles clicked in frustration as he reviewed the battlefield reports. How could a species so fragmented and primitive fight with such effectiveness? The answer became apparent during a skirmish over a critical supply line. The humans had managed to intercept and decode Xathari communications, a feat the commander had deemed impossible. Using this knowledge, they launched an ambush, severing the Xathari's access to vital resources. Even more unsettling was the fact that this attack involved not only soldiers but engineers, technicians, and civilians working in unison. The Xathari drones, once believed to be untouchable, were hacked mid-battle. Human cyber teams had found vulnerabilities in the Dominion's code, turning the drones against their creators. The Xathari were unprepared for such audacity. To them, technology was a weapon wielded by the few, but humans used it as a tool for collective resistance. Xathari was forced to acknowledge a bitter truth. The humans were not a single enemy but a swarm, each individual a point of unpredictable resistance. Their strength lay in their chaos, in their refusal to conform to patterns the Xathari could exploit. Every action taken by the Dominion seemed only to provoke a more determined and unified response. For the first time in his long career, Commander Xathari felt the sting of doubt. The Xathari had entered Earth's domain believing themselves to be predators, but now it was clear they had underestimated the planet and its people. Earth wasn't just a target, it was a trap, and the Xathari had walked straight into it.